Welcome back to Speak Up Afrika. And today you only have your host, Wendy Loyce, to take us through the conversation that we have. Now, let me start by saying I am truly grateful for all of us who have carried the conversations in a lively and engaging manner right from when we started the year 2025. We had our season 1 rolling out, and we successfully got to our season 2. And as a platform, we have been aiming at having the conversations that ideally bring us platforms to engage, empower, and be informed. And that has been the trajectory we've taken throughout the year as we've focused on tech, leadership and governance spaces, labor laws and rights. We've had a myriad of guests who have come all the way. We've had conversations around what the young people want for this country, the changes that we have, and what we were fighting for. We've had conversations around tech and AI, and I will just highlight a couple of episodes that we had that we remain to be grateful for your engagement. And we had Burdens by the System, where a pivotal point in Kenya where we had the finance bill maandamanos in 2024 brought about a unifying factor for young people. But the conversations also flipped, and we considered the element that the uprising of the Gen Z movement was not a single-handedly unique feature. The bulge was just also part of a generational uprising of people demanding what they wanted. And that brought us to a lot of conversations of, are young people really ready to take up leadership spaces? And we had data privacy and what that means for us. How do you share your information? How do you give out your information? And what exactly do you give out when you get to places of socialization, when you get to public places? And how do you secure your data? We also had big tech accountability, digital dangers, and we had this conversation as we were gearing up towards the long holidays that we had for our kids. I mean, we're living in days and times where we have perpetrators right in the digital space. And we highlighted some of the ways to ensure safety for our kids, even as they stay home with us. And then I know I have used this phrase more than enough times in our podcast this year. AI is the new you and I. And AI is not here to replace you and I, but if you embrace it, then you set yourself apart and you become indispensable. And we had fantastic conversations around that. I remember very well when we had an informative session where AI was being incorporated in the health sector. And we had Antara Health, where we had Kabangi come and talk to us about digital tools that have been placed in the system that are making healthcare easier, more accessible, and more efficient for both the patients and the practitioners. And that was a fantastic episode. And again, allow me to put this in there that Speak Up Afrika is a platform that primarily came to ensure we can have conversations that inform, engage, and empower. And part of our civic rights, responsibilities, and duties as citizens of Kenya and a part of African democracies is, number one, to be knowledgeable and to be part of processes that are taking place. And this takes me back to an episode we had where we really spoke about the responsibility of civic engagement in our communities. And the truth is, we had an element of, is it a deliberate act for civic education necessarily not to be there in our systems today and part of our curriculums in schools? And those are the conversations that you cannot debunk all at one sitting. And we continue to schedule guests and have conversations and make sure that we push the barriers of no access to information, no access to education, and we push the barriers further and further away. And even as we concluded right into the end of this year and into the month of December, we had a guest who came and we were able to talk about the transition that we've had as a nation from a highlighted point in history where 2024 we had the Gen Z Uprising. And at the time we were having the conversation, we had now the voter registrations being rolled out and the numbers had a mismatch. And we tried to really talk about then where is the problem? Who is the problem? And are the young people really ready for real participation and leadership and governance? Or was it just a highlight that will remain in our books of history? And as we come to the tail end and wind up, ours is to say, Asante, Asante, Asante Sana. You have carried us through the year. You have carried us through 2025. You have carried us through season 1 right into season 2. I have had amazing guests. I have had emotional moving guests. I have had ideology moving guests. And all this was made possible because of your returning support, that you are always there to engage with every episode, engage with our socials. Now, as we get into the next phase of this, we take it a notch higher. I still will be here to hold you accountable, to give you the tools to empower you, to give you the platform for you to express yourself. Yours is to engage, to remain informed so that you can be empowered and set aside. So as we take the game to the next level, as we take the conversations a notch higher, I appreciate you for the journey we've had. And I am praying and believing and saying, as we roll out the next phase, as I'm seeing you in our next episode, let's make this bigger and better. My name is Wendy Loyce, and this is Speak Up Afrika. I will continue to bring you conversations that aim to inform, engage, and empower. I am wishing you happy festivities. Be safe. Take care of yourself and your families. Have a good time. And I will be seeing you on the other side as we pick up these conversations. For now, I will love you and leave you. Kwaheri.